May 2025 began as a seemingly normal day in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso. However, for President Ibrahim Traoré, the calm morning took a drastic turn when he received an unexpected invitation that would shake the world. CIA Director Kash Patel had requested a joint interview with him on CNN to address concerns about security cooperation in the Sahel region. Ibrahim's foreign minister, Dr. Alonso Ouedraogo, instantly grew wary. This could be a trap. Patel is not known for his diplomatic gestures, he warned. Ibrahim, now 35, had learned to be suspicious when enemies suddenly turned friendly. He looked over the invitation with a hint of skepticism. "That's an interesting timing," Ibrahim murmured, reflecting on recent intelligence that pointed to something far darker. Just last week, Major Rimaru Saodo, head of national intelligence, had brought in a classified dossier, confirming that the US had been operating covertly on African soil. "The evidence is irrefutable," Major Saodo said, presenting a briefcase. Ibrahim opened it and smiled, coolly, but with a sense of determination. "Mr. Patel wants to clear up misunderstandings." "Perfect. We'll give him the opportunity to do just that." Meanwhile, across the world in Washington, Kash Patel was preparing with overconfidence. Sitting in his CIA office, he chuckled to himself. "I'll make Ibrahim look like an amateur. The world will see just how inexperienced this young leader is. It's the perfect moment to reassert America's dominance in Africa." What Patel didn't know was that Ibrahim had uncovered something far more sinister than he could ever imagine. Something that would not only ruin Patel's career, but also change the geopolitical landscape forever. The day before the interview, Ibrahim and his closest advisors had spent hours in a top-secret underground bunker. Maps, photos, wiretap recordings, and financial records were spread out on the table. "Our CIA source has confirmed everything. Operation African Cleansing is not just about regime change," Major Saodo explained. "It's much darker. It's about a criminal network, and Patel is at its heart." Ibrahim studied the evidence with a calm, unshakable demeanor. Kash Patel was not just orchestrating instability in Africa. He was profiting from it. Using the CIA's resources, he'd turned the war on terror into a global criminal enterprise. Weapons, drugs, even human trafficking, nothing was off the table. Ibrahim's face tightened in disgust as he saw the full scale of the operation. Dr. Ouedraogo entered the room with even more damning evidence. "We've intercepted Patel's communications with Mexican cartels and terrorist groups. He's financing the very instability he claims to fight." Ibrahim stood up, his voice steady but filled with resolve. "This man has turned the CIA into his personal cartel, using American taxpayer dollars to fund international criminal activities. Tomorrow we expose him. He asked for this interview, and we'll let him dig his own grave on live television." Meanwhile, Patel, oblivious to the bombshell waiting for him, spent the next few hours rehearsing his attack on Ibrahim. He was convinced he could humiliate the African leader, questioning his legitimacy and ability to handle international affairs. "I'll show the world who really runs things in Africa," Patel muttered to his staff, oblivious to the storm that was about to hit him. On the evening of May 27, 2025, CNN's Atlanta studios were brimming with anticipation. The interview, broadcasted to 89 countries, would be moderated by Anderson Cooper. Behind the scenes, the tension was palpable. Patel adjusted his tie, mentally preparing himself to dismantle Ibrahim on a global stage. But across the world in Ouagadougou, Ibrahim sat calmly in his presidential office, knowing that everything was about to change. "Good evening, world," Anderson Cooper began, introducing the segment. "Tonight, we have an extraordinary interview with CIA Director Kash Patel and President Ibrahim Traoré. They will discuss international security cooperation in Africa. The screen split, showing Patel in a US government office and Ibrahim in front of a Burkina Faso flag. Director Patel, Anderson began, "You requested this interview to clear up some misunderstandings. What exactly would you like to address?" Patel smiled arrogantly. "There have been distorted narratives about the CIA's role in Africa. We want to show our true commitment to regional stability." Anderson turned to Ibrahim. "And President Traore, how would you describe your cooperation with American agencies?" Ibrahim, maintaining a calm composure, answered with a smile, "Mr. Cooper, cooperation requires mutual honesty. Unfortunately, we've discovered that Mr. Patel's definition of cooperation involves something much more sinister." Patel chuckled condescendingly. "I understand that young leaders may have limited perspectives on such matters," Ibrahim calmly interjected. "Like using CIA resources to operate an international drug and arms trafficking ring." Patel's smile froze. Anderson Cooper leaned forward, sensing something was not right. "This is a very serious accusation, President Traore," Cooper said. "It's not an accusation, Mr. Cooper," Ibrahim replied, opening a folder beside him. "It's documented evidence." Ibrahim began displaying evidence on the screen: bank transfers, intercepted phone calls, and photographs. "Mr. Patel, do you recognize these Swiss bank account numbers?" Ibrahim asked calmly, revealing millions of dollars in transfers from CIA-linked accounts to Patel's personal accounts. Patel's face drained of color as he stammered, trying to form words. "These are forgeries, Mr. Cooper. This is all fabricated." Ibrahim smiled. "These transfers have been verified by Swiss banks, European authorities, and interestingly by the US Treasury Department." The documents on the screen grew darker, revealing a deeper conspiracy. "Operation Commodity Exchange," Ibrahim continued. "Your network for trafficking cocaine through African routes using CIA aircraft." Patel's eyes widened in disbelief. "This is classified," he shouted desperately. "Stop this now." Ibrahim remained unfazed. "Classified to protect criminal operations, perhaps, or to protect you from arrest." At this point, a chilling photograph appeared on screen. Patel himself, supervising the loading of 340 kilograms of cocaine onto a US military plane in Mali. Patel screamed, "This is a deep fake, a lie." Ibrahim remained calm. "No, Mr. Patel. We have a 47-minute video of you coordinating with an American colonel to clear distribution routes for the drugs." Patel's face twisted in horror. "How did you get this?" he whispered, his voice cracking. "Competent intelligence," Ibrahim replied coldly. "Something you clearly overlooked." Ibrahim continued relentlessly, switching to new evidence. "Let's talk about Operation Human Market, shall we? This involves trafficking women and children through CIA-controlled routes, doesn't it?" Patel stumbled back in his seat, horrified. "No, that's not true." Ibrahim displayed more documents, showing 247 women and children trafficked over the past 6 months through routes controlled by Patel's network. Patel was visibly shaking now, barely able to speak. "Please, stop," he begged. Ibrahim remained unflinching. "Stop what, Mr. Patel?" The truth? As the revelations continued, the American public watched in stunned silence. Anderson Cooper was at a loss for words, unable to process the magnitude of what was unfolding before him. "This is treason, Mr. Patel," Anderson finally managed to say. "If true, you are guilty of multiple federal crimes." Patel could only shake his head, his body trembling with fear and disbelief. "I need a lawyer," he whispered. "Of course, you do," Ibrahim replied gently. "I suggest a very good one, because you will be facing charges in at least 7 different countries." Ibrahim's final words were chilling. "Mr. Patel, I understand this is difficult, but the families of the 247 victims you trafficked deserve justice." The American people deserve the truth. Patel, now completely broken, tried to flee the studio, but security quickly intervened and the cameras captured his arrest live. Kash Patel has been arrested, Anderson announced. Federal agents have surrounded the CIA headquarters and Patel's residence. Within minutes, the entire Washington operation collapsed. Patel was detained and charged with treason, human trafficking, and murder. Meanwhile, IBRAHIM Traore had just delivered the most powerful blow to corruption the world had ever seen.